You at the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Put that coffee down.
I'm a British nanny, and I'm dangerous.
It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
That was totally wicked!
It's the Al Travis Show, and I've been waiting for Senator Rob Kupec to come on the program since Friday morning. Friday morning, they put out the exploding tree alert. I saw it on the X. Some weather guy declared it, and then they put, the blob across most of North Dakota in through Minnesota, and then it had the dark purpley blob where you really knew the trees were going to explode. And Senator, I read that story, said, I got to get you on because you're a weather guy, and that's not a thing, is it? There's no way that I'm 61 years old, sir. This is not the coldest it's got in Minnesota. I have never seen a tree explode, ever.
So trees will crack, and they may make a noise when they crack. It's more like a pop, but trees are not exploding. No, trees, I'm fairly safe that trees are not exploding.
Okay, I live in an old house. I live in this really crappy old house, right? The old Victorian thing. It got that cold, dogs are going nuts. Bing over here and then bing over there in the rafters. My dog's wondering who's in. You get it. It's cold.
Sure.
Why would a weather guy create? Here's the thing, like, we don't have enough stuff to worry about in Minnesota right now. Someone's got to put an exploding tree alert out. Like, we don't have, they're talking about kids scared to go to school. Well, don't go in the forest either because you could get blown up. Why would a weather guy do that? And should he get his credits taken away?
Well, funny you should say that because even within divisions through society, not only run through that, they run through the weather, people too, because there are people like myself who somehow weaseled their way into television, but went to a research university, and we did all the physics and the chemistry and the calculus. Yeah. And then there are these people that took a shortcut path and kind of went into television. And there's a tension between those people. Some of it is like, we think, like we sweated it out. You didn't, we're a little bit grudgy like that. But also some of them are just a little bit more, I don't know, call them media savvy, but media, like they're about like trying to get eyeballs in front of the screen. Yeah. And, maybe I didn't do such a good job of that because I was trying to be,
a weather guy.
Well, yeah, talk really about the weather and what I thought was going to happen, and not like, the sky is falling, everything's going to end. When it snows in Minnesota, people. It happens. Yeah. It just, I couldn't understand, like, it's a red alert weather day or something like that. It's like, because it's going to snow 2 inches. Is that really a red alert weather day? I don't think so.
This sounds so non-Minnesota nice that I'm going to say this out loud, but I will because I know Minnesota. So all the things going on here in Minnesota across the world. And the big news organizations out of D.C., the East Coast, all they talked about was this stupid snowstorm, ice storm, and it was big, but they're covering almost from top to bottom. Thing, it's weather, people, not ripping your profession, my friend. It's worth noting, but wall-to-wall coverage of the snow, is that seriously what National Weather Service should be doing? National news organizations should be doing? I was bored with it.
Okay. I'll give you the behind the scenes, the two reasons.
That's what I want. That's why I couldn't wait to have you on. There's so much weather crap going on.
Covering the weather is really inexpensive. It's cheap. That's an easy story to cover. It is inexpensive.
That's probably true. Okay. All right.
Secondly, people, they know that when weather happens, viewership goes up. So some of it's on us. We feed them. We're like, we want more. It's a hurricane. It's a snowstorm. And so it's us. They're giving us sort of what we want. So and it's easy to cover.
I will say it was on Fox this morning because I just want to get mad at them. They had a guy on the street, news guy on the street, showing the snow. It's snowing here, and he goes, "I want to show you something." And the camera guy, they knew this would come, and he stepped into the snowbank. He goes, "That's all the way up to my boot tops, people," and it's like that was the big thing. I'm like, I am a 61-year-old man. You can't tell me 6 inches of snow, and you have to do the demo of it went over your boot. That's not. Come on.
But here's the thing. when I was not, the chief meteorologist, you got to go stand out by the side of the interstate tonight in the blizzard, right? I got that assignment handed to me. And you got more people who would write in and say how much they loved the fact that I was standing out on the side of the interstate with the snow pelting the side of my head. And so that's why they're just feeding the beast.
That's just people who don't like Kupec. Now, let me ask you this: though, like a hurricane, they'll have people on the beaches. The hurricane's coming in. They're saying, "Don't come out. Don't be the." And the guy's standing, and the weather hitting. You just told me not to be outside, you knucklehead, and there you are showing me the wind speed and you know what I'm saying? It seems counterproductive.
Well, and remember, it was probably a decade ago. It was like the Today Show, and there was some woman, she was reporting in a boat in some flooding, and then this firefighter goes walking by, and the water is even up to his knees, and they called her out on the air. That was the best. I'm like, come on, setting
it all over. Yeah. So I appreciate you coming on. So we can get rid of the rumor that trees are exploding in the woods spontaneously, and anyone's been harmed by an exploding tree.
Yes, I think so. I
feel thing to worry about.
Confident in that this morning.
Okay, and you have like 40 years experience, right? This isn't coming from how long you been a meteorologist? Well, I should ask you how old you are. I'm 61. I've never seen it. Been here my whole life.
I got a degree in 92, so
So you know your stuff. All right, fair enough. Other things going on. We have plenty to talk about if we want to get. I don't. Here's what I'd like to talk to you about. With all that's going on in the state of Minnesota, and not that it's the most important thing, but it is changing the way this election season is going. I throw at you, Governor Walz took forever to get in the race, right? I mean, when we were waiting and all the people on the sidelines are just ready to drop and go in. If he says nobody gets in. A few weeks later, all the stuff going on in Minnesota, he pulls out. And I think you and I might have talked about it. It was Senator Klobuchar's to have, right? Everyone thought she was, by next Monday, she'd be in. We're 3 weeks later, buddy. Now, the rumor has it that she did fill out a committee form or whatever to say she might be running. The rumor is she starts today. I don't know if you've heard that rumor. How much is that? Oh, okay. Well, they said on Friday or something she filled out the
they did
the
say
forms.
That. Yep. I did.
And then people said, well, that's just what you do if you're thinking about it. Now she filled out the committee form. She's going to get in. It's just when. And here's the problem. Okay, so you're planning on today. Well, today's news now is all about what happened on Saturday for folks who didn't. So now it's like, well, we're not going to announce then. It's this whole series. And I used Senator Hand. I presume you knew. He got in, and the next day was all about the last thing that happened, and he was wiped off the paper. I mean, right? Mm-hmm. Now, Michelle Tafoya got in. She hit a window. At least people knew she got in. She's a name. Tell me, do you do that up in your neck of the woods? Is this a city's thing? Is this a statewide thing? This planning to get in has to be almost choreographed. I get not doing it today. The day's news, she'd get wiped off the front page. But you know what I'm saying? It just seems like we're waiting for the perfect time to get in, and we're getting late. Your caucuses are next week.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. I mean, it is. I would say, for my race, I didn't do that, a lot, but I would, obviously if there was some big news event going on, I would not I'm not going to do it today. Yeah. And I think, certainly having some, worked in the media, which days actually have the most eyeballs in front of the screens and which days are the best days to put out, typically midweek is when most people are watching, and Sunday is the huge other viewing night. You don't announce on a Friday or a Saturday. I mean, I always thought when we did when I was doing the Saturday 6:00 news, it'd be like I could walk out here and with no clothes on, and probably nobody would write in and say that was the most horrible thing I ever saw because nobody was watching. But it's so there is a little bit of a dance and choreographing, and also. It's not only the timing of it, whether you're going to get wiped off. It's hard if you want to project some message. Yeah. You have to, with everything that's going on. That's a slim path to walk to hit the right tone, to not sound tone deaf, but to still get out and promote that you want to run for an office. I don't envy her position.
Hers are even Michelle Tafoya found out the same thing. You get in, and here's my 3-prong stool stance. And the first question is, what do you think about ICE doing the? You don't
Yeah,
That
right.
exactly what you're saying. You just don't get the opportunity to throw it out there.
No.
But I've been commentating on what's going on in the state of Minnesota for 30-something years. I do not remember a week out of caucuses that there wasn't a Democrat running for governor. It seems so unbelievable that you could, it has to somebody's got to be on the list for you people to caucus over by next Tuesday.
That is true. Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny. I'm not sure either, though, because you know what? When we did the caucuses, 4 years ago, I wasn't running at that point either. So
you weren't?
No, because the other senator still was running, and he didn't drop out till much later. So partly I was like, I've actually never gone through this caucus thing as a candidate. So,
are you doing it now? Are you going through the caucus thing? The whole thing, you're going through your BPOUs and all that. You doing that yourself?
Yeah, I'm going around. I'm talking.
No, have you done it as a electorate or whatever, as a BPOU member? Have you done that?
Yeah, I've gone where we've gone through the caucus and talked to all the people. Yeah.
No. As a legislator, I get that. But have you been the person to talk to? Here's my point. I did this 1 year, 8, 9, maybe 10 years ago now already. I said, okay, so I went to my high school, right, and they had the Republicans over here and and I sat there and it was just brilliant talk amongst ourselves. And then, well, who wants to go to the county thing? When's that? That's right. Next Saturday. I'll go. Then you get together with the county folks. Now there's 60 people all talking the same stuff. It is
yes,
weird.
I have done that. I have been a delegate at the county level convention.
And how high did you go? I stopped at the state because you know what? I'm like, I get tired of hearing myself say, people are going to laugh at that. I get tired of hearing myself say the same thing over and over again. I got tired of hearing the same people talk in a wind tunnel. It's just, here we are, and I couldn't do it. You are dedicated if you go through that process to get all the way to the state convention. You are dedicated.
Yes. No, and I plateaued at the county level. I'm like, I'm fine. I don't need to go on to the state level convention.
That's what I did. I got to go to break, sir. We'll be back after this with more. I've got him, okay. Senator Rob Kupec on the Al Travis Show.
You need a friend at the Capitol who knows how to get things done.
And you're in luck because that's exactly who we are, your friends at the Capitol, and we deliver results.
At Momentum Advocacy, we bring decades of experience in lobbying, public affairs, and crisis communications.
From local nonprofits to national corporations, we help you move policy, manage your media, and make your voice heard.
We're not just seasoned pros, we're essential partners.
Momentum Advocacy, your friends at the Capitol. Learn more at momentum-advocacy.com.
There's never a good time for car trouble, especially when you've got places to be. Whether it's a mysterious rattle under the hood or just time for that routine oil change, you need a mechanic you can trust. That's where Jay's Auto in Blue Earth comes in. From strange noises to engine diagnostics, Jay and his team provide honest service at a fair price. They're proud to keep their neighbors on the road safely season after season. Don't wait for a breakdown. Stop at Jay's Auto today or call 525-1052.
as in alligator. L also in alligator. But it's not alligator. It's the Al Travis Show.
It's the Al Travis Show. We love having him on. He's Senator Rob Kupec. Senator, let me do this. We can't go back, however we got to where we're at, you and I, today on a Monday. If Senator Kupec was king for the day, what is the next step we have to take to, if not eliminate this problem, at least take that temperature down? Everyone says we got to lower the temperature. I don't see anyone doing anything to do that. What does Senator Kupec do if you could? What would be your thing?
What am I king of the day of the whole country or just of Minnesota?
I'll go with the whole country if that works for you. I don't think it. How do I put this? I get your point. The right is the nationwide thing. It's Trump, but in the state, it's Walz. You pick. You're in charge. You're in charge of whatever you want to be in charge of.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure if I'm in charge of the state. I'm not sure, that I'm doing anything differently. I think, I don't think the governor it's the language he's using is certainly not trying to incite violence. He wants people to have their, First Amendment rights. I think people are, seeing, neighbors, people just taken out of their homes. Some people, U.S. citizens, getting dragged out of their homes. And I think that makes them upset. And they have a constitutional right, to go out under the First Amendment and to protest that right and be observers. I think if I'm, king of the federal government, I think there's a whole new approach that you could do for this. I mean, there are ways. I mean, just think about there are so much more efficient ways that you could be doing this with spending less money and getting, the result that you want. If the real result is to go find people that are undocumented, first of all, the worst of the worst, turns out most of them are in our prisons and jails and we're turning those people over. But there's other ways that you could do that. I mean, walking around on the street and just trying to cast a net, where a lot of these people are actually working these undocumented jobs. Those are the places, if you really wanted to do it in a more humane way, just show up there. And then you wouldn't cast a net and drag in people who are just, U.S. citizens trying to go about their lives.
What would you say is the difference between Minnesota and the other 49 states where this isn't happening? ICE agents in every 50 states, I presume they're getting bad guys as well. I mean, that's what they do in, I would throw Iowa. I don't have any idea what they're doing in Iowa. How come it is so markedly different in Minnesota?
Well, first, I mean, how many? It's the way I think the agents are operating here. First of all, it's this surge. It's about some kind of show of strength. If you look at a map, what pockets of places have the most, known undocumented folks, it's not Minnesota. So I don't even know why they're here to do that. I mean, it's places, they're not showing up with these big surges in Texas, where there are huge numbers. They're not doing this in Florida, where there are huge numbers of people. They did do it some in New York, and New York has a larger undocumented population, but they didn't do it with the same, I would say, veracity or intensity. There's definitely, I think, from the federal level, something that's been more amped up when they've come into Minnesota.
Nothing to do with sanctuary cities? That would be different than 99% of the country? And I have 1 minute. I'm not putting you in a box. 1 minute.
All of those other states have those type of cities too, and it's and it's not. I don't necessarily know that that label of what is a sanctuary city. All across the state, our local law enforcement said, "Look, that's not our purview. That's not our jurisdiction. We don't enforce those laws. We are here to make sure that people are safe." Because the other thing is, we don't want people not reporting crime because they feel like the local police are going to come out and go after them. We want them to be able to, say, "Hey, I saw something," or "Hey, this terrible thing is happening." We want local crime, to be handled by our local law enforcement, and we don't want a deterrent on that.
All right, I'm out of time. Don't mean to cut you off. I'm out of time. We're hitting up a break. I appreciate you, and I hope you got plenty of time to say what you wanted to say on it. I wanted to make the day. We spent a lot of time on exploding trees. I need to get my head off of all this stuff at some point. Appreciate you, my friend. We'll see you next week.
Talk to you later.
Senator Robert Kupec on the Al Travis Show.
At LGH Wealth Management, our mission